Welcome back, Film Force fans. Get excited as we look back at all 18 MCU films in the countdown to Avengers Infinity War.
What do we do, Cap? We fight.
Captain America Civil War, or Avengers 2.5 as I like to call it. This film was amazing. I went and saw this at the midnight premiere.
My favorite film in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe is Captain America Civil War.
My first impressions of Captain America Civil War were absolutely phenomenal. This film was everything I wanted it to be. It was like an Avengers film, but bigger. It was like the biggest cast we've seen, the biggest story, yet such a heart-wrenching story, but so significant for the narrative of the MCU. This film was everything that I wanted it to be. It was fantastic.
I feel as though Civil War is a great bridge of both what makes the best of the MCU solo films great and what makes the Avengers team-up movies great.
You knew, you're going to get Iron Man, you're going to get Captain America. It's going to be just like the comics. And in some ways it was, but in other ways it wasn't. It wasn't this huge battle of 20 heroes versus 20 heroes. But it was this character-driven story that worked really well, and you could understand both persons' point of view. As much as this was Captain America's film, and it was, they made sure it was, had Iron Man as the secondary main character.
We follow Captain America. It's his story. It's part of his arc. And we, in many ways, the audience is meant to root for him. But it's also with this huge ensemble cast, considers other perspectives, and has other plot lines running throughout.
I absolutely loved all of Captain America Civil War. It was like the biggest culmination of characters that we've seen, like all of the Avengers, obviously minus Thor and Hulk, brought together. I loved that we were introduced to characters like Spider-Man into the MCU.
Okay, Captain? Big fan of Spider-Man?
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Just...
Hey, everyone.
Good job.
Black Panther.
And Chadwick Boseman was, to me, the breakout star of this film. He embodied Black Panther and was really interesting. And when he first came on screen, you knew who he was. He just brought presence to the screen.
I thought the introduction of Black Panther in this film was absolutely fantastic. Chadwick Boseman is absolutely phenomenal. I thought Black Panther was so great in this film. Come in, lots of action. We see a bit of the backstory, and obviously at this point we're yet to see the film Black Panther, so he'll kind of have his origin story later on, but the way he was introduced was absolutely fantastic. I love that he came in and he was such a strong protagonist. At first we don't really know who he is, but then we later get development of his character, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant in this film. Ant-Man, like all these characters being set up for future films, culminating from different films, was absolutely phenomenal.
We also get
what we discussed. Keep your distance. Web them up.
Okay, drop them.
Spider-Man and Black Panther, which is pretty huge. And despite all that's going on with
Captain.
the previous
I won't ask a
characters,
second
we didn't really see this.
Look, I really don't want to.
Spider-Man is given a good introduction. Black Panther's given a great introduction and a good arc throughout the movie as well. And it's just amazing that they were able to write that into the film.
What was so good about it? It had repercussions from Age of Ultron, from Captain America Winter Soldier, from the Avengers. All these repercussions coming up, and then the storylines coming through, you know. Yes, you might have saved us, but you've also destroyed things. Sokovia was your fault. If you hadn't created Ultron, that wouldn't have happened.
This film was everything I wanted it to be. It was, although it was a really heartbreaking story, obviously Civil War tearing apart the team from the inside, Like, it was so important for the narrative, for them all to be, ripped apart in Civil War, for them to all come together in Infinity War. Like, that was really significant and really important.
Let's start with the good things. The airport scene. Obviously, the airport scene, this was like a comic come to life. I remember being in the cinema when Ant-Man went giant and you were cheering. It was awesome. And then they brought Spider-Man in as well. They brought Spider-Man into the MCU, something we've been waiting for. And to see all these heroes that we loved going back and forth against each other, all each trying to fight, but not hurt each other maybe, but still trying to take the other one out.
And all coming together for that massive fight scene at the airport was absolutely fantastic. The choreography of that was just fantastic. I love when Ant-Man goes from being tiny to being like mega huge. That's absolutely phenomenal.
I got him.
I think in a lot of situations, hero versus hero conflicts feel contrived, but I think they've built towards this pretty well, and it makes sense for the characters that this would happen, but still in a way where I predict it will make sense that they come together again when the world is in enough of a threat.
And then the Captain America and Bucky storyline. Captain America, doing this to protect his friend who defended him when he was not a super soldier. Now he's trying to do the same for him and fight for his friend. And that to me leads us to the best line in this film.
He's my friend. So was I.
That line broke me up. Even in the trailers, okay, this could get serious.
There's so many just great moments. I don't even know where to start. The final fight, Cap is so emotional. The scene that introduces Zemo is chilling. To talk about Zemo, I don't know what you guys think about him, but in my opinion, he's easily one of the best Marvel villains that we've seen thus far, even if he's not exactly what the Zemo is in the comics.
And the fact that they brought this film, normally they go small fight, big fight. They didn't. They went quite a big fight, even bigger fight, small, enclosed, emotional fight between Iron Man, Bucky, and Winter Soldier.
Zemo's character, the guy who's kind of controlling Winter Soldier, I just didn't think his character was that great. I thought Winter Soldier was absolutely fantastic. Sebastian Stan's character was awesome in the film, but I thought the Russian guy, or Zemo, whatever his name was, I didn't think he was that great. I thought we could have seen a little bit more of him, maybe developed him a bit. I don't know, maybe it was just because it was like the only negative thing in the film, but that was the only thing that I didn't like.
And then also the villain in this film, I loved. He was this small villain. He was pulling the strings. Yes, the plan was a bit convoluted, but he was just pulling the strings to get revenge for his family. And that storyline really touched me. You could sympathize, or maybe not sympathize, but understand why he was doing this. And it worked really well. I think, as I said, the plan was a bit convoluted of Zemo's plan. It just was a bit like, so that had to work. What happened if that didn't work? There were just so many things that could have gone wrong. It was just it got a bit too far-fetched, but I still liked it.
Everyone does just as great an acting job as usual. Chris Evans, especially, I think, is at his best in this movie. Robert Downey Jr. is great as Tony Stark. And in addition to all of the previous characters that were introduced in previous films, having great interactions and building on what their characters were in the past, and I especially like characters like Vision and Wanda, who were introduced in Age of Ultron. This is really the first time we see them beyond that movie.
And you can understand why Tony Stark was doing this. You can understand why Captain America. You can understand the pain Tony Stark was going through when he found out Bucky was responsible for his parents' death. Everything made sense, and each of their characters' emotions made sense.
I like Rhodey, his accident, like when he gets hit, and his recovery.
I just think, as much as there might be quite a few flaws that I just don't notice in the film, because it's so much fun, this film. And to me, all the characters had really good stand-up roles. There was great relationships between Vision and Scarlet Witch. You had Hawkeye coming out of retirement and being this veteran, this sort of uncle figure to Scarlet Witch. You had Captain America trying to be the father of all the Avengers, trying to protect them, look after Scarlet Witch, and be, this butting heads bit with Iron Man, saying, if I see a situation going south, I have to intervene. I can't wait for someone to tell me it's okay to, or I can't. That was really interesting.
I could go on about this movie for hours, but I'll just say that, this is, so far, the pinnacle of the MCU, and I think in many ways just shows why it's worth doing a cinematic universe. Why you shouldn't just do, and to see that this film was so great and now the Russos are directing Infinity War makes me so excited to see it in April.
So to me, this is a 9 out of 10. It is such a good film.
For me, Captain America Civil War is a solid 10 out of 10. It was my favourite film in the entire MCU, and to be honest, my favourite film of all time.
Thank you for watching this episode of the MCU fan countdown to Avengers Infinity War. Make sure you check out everyone's links in the description below, and like and comment and share this video. And check out the video tomorrow. Until next time, bye.